So as the story of Vic Mignogna and the sexual allegations against him continue, a Twitter user and YouTuber that goes by the name of Nick, who is also a real lawyer in which his YouTube channel goes by Rekieta Law, had recently conducted an interview with a convention owner named Shane in regards to the entire Vic Mignogna situation, in which Nick had went ahead to challenge Shane on his stances on contractual obligations and seeing if Vic is allowed to come back currently in attending any of the 18 cons he was booted from, alongside challenging Shane on an intellectual level as to where he stands with the entire Vic Mignogna situation, as Shane went on to state that one of the only ways any convention, in particular 4 in which he can bring Vic back to right now, would ever accept him is if he went along to change his current ways, which Nick went along to challenge in asking Shane what exactly these actions and or characteristics are that Vic Mignogna needs to change in order for him to return to any convention, as Shane went along to say that Funimation voice actors don't make that much money. He went along in quoting and calling them poor, that one of the many sources of income for a lot of these voice actors are conventions, and for Vic Mignogna to lose a large portion of his revenue because he was booted from 18 conventions based on accusations and allegations alone is not only reckless but malice in intent, as Nick went along to challenge Shane in reasoning with him and finding out why exactly Vic Mignogna was booted simply off of he say she say allegations. No irrefutable factual evidence to support any narrative that Vic had done anything wrong for him to get booted from any of these conventions. Keep in mind once more, conventions in which a lot of these voice actors do make the most amount of money in attending. So once more, I do want to say I definitely stand with Rekieta Law. I stand with Nick in his arguments against Shane, because Shane never provided any irrefutable factual evidence in supporting the idea of why these conventions chose to give Vic the boot without having to provide any irrefutable evidence supporting the allegations against him, in which I will be playing clips later on in this video, as I do highly encourage you guys to share this video out on Twitter, on Facebook, and all over social media platforms so people can see that a lot of these convention owners, that a lot of these people that are working behind the scenes seem to be having somewhat of an agenda and not only backpedaling in their statements in directly accusing Vic Mignogna in sexual assault and other kinds of sexual misconducts, but the evidence that Nick had provided against Shane in this case is undeniably objectively factual when looking at the overall premise from both sides of the aisle, especially when Shane wasn't able to counter the arguments that Nick was presenting in support of Vic Mignogna's case in this essence when going up against Funimation, Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, and other people. Now, when speaking about Jamie Marchi actually does have the best case in this situation to be sued for defamation of character, character assassination, and malice towards Vic Mignogna himself, in regards to Jamie having to state, and I quote, "I want his head and balls on a plate," which is very egregious in and of itself, and she buried herself with that comment, but also going as far as to sue many of the other people that are not only slandering Vic Mignogna's character and ruining any chance of him ever having to conduct business with conventions and or other companies, but going as far as to slander those that are painting him out to be an absolute monster when in fact the case points otherwise, especially when looking at all of the falsification and falsified evidence being taken from the KickVic movement. So again, I highly encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button on this channel and turn on all notifications, because I will be keeping you guys in the loop with all the latest news, information, and updates in regards to the entire Vic Mignogna situation. But I also want to emphasize that the entire KickVic movement is now beginning to backpedal in their statements, in their evidence, in their presentation of evidence, and even going as far as to block people, harass people. We have people coming out saying that they're blocked from attending conventions now from voice actors. We have Funimation seemingly enough attempting to prevent anyone from canceling their subscription. So there are so many suspicious things happening currently at this current point in time right now that points the finger that something seems very off about the entire hashtag KickVic movement. And right now I'm going to be showing you guys a little clip of a 2.5-hour stream from Nick, aka Rekieta Law, in which I do encourage you guys to go ahead and check out his channel, support him, and leave your thoughts down below as to where you guys stand in this entire situation. Slap a like down below. All credit goes out to Nick, and if Nick just so happens to watch this video, my message to Nick is keep on fighting the good fight and keep providing the information, the legal information that fans need to know about while entering this situation. So I hope you guys enjoy. Here's the clip, and make a judgment for yourself and let me know where you guys stand. Take a look.
That people coming off of my show and saying that, you know what, Vic could sue these people for defamation, that is tarnishing his brand? Are we in Realityville here? You think that is tarnishing his brand more than women who are saying, listen to hundreds of women, of which there are not hundreds of stories, by the way. There are maybe a couple dozen. That number is growing by the day for convenience. But you're saying that sexual harassment, sexual misconduct allegations, those didn't damage his brand irreparably. It's people, random people on the internet saying, hey, Jamie Marchi, prepare to get sued because some lawyer I watched on YouTube said you probably could be. That's damaging the brand. I firmly disagree.
So let me go over a couple of your points here real quick. So you brought up the conventions. Let me ask this question. Have you actually talked personally to any conventions and talked to them and discussed with them the reasons why they canceled Vic's contract? 18 conventions is what you mentioned. Have you talked to any of them and discussed why they canceled his appearance?
Why would I talk to 18 conventions, and why in God's name would they talk to me? I mean, I know a bunch of people are completely... Hold on. Don't forget whose show you're on, buddy. Do not forget that. You are on my show.
So you don't know why they canceled his appearance?
I don't care why. I don't care why they've...
Oh, you don't care what... Okay, good.
Here's the thing. You say you've watched my videos. Have I mentioned a single specific convention that could be sued other than Pensacon? TikTok.
I'm listening to you talking about all the conventions in your massive conspiracy. You're not going to back it up now? You just said massive conspiracy.
You're not listening. You said massive conspiracy. I said a legal conspiracy which involves 2 or more people furthering a tort. Are you going to disagree with that? By the way, you said, hold on. You said you weren't going to question my legal expertise on this stream, I guess, which is weird because you've been questioning my legal expertise on Twitter, on Discord. You've said flatly, Nick doesn't know what he's talking about. Back it up.
Nick doesn't know what he's talking about.
Back it up. Question any legal strategy I have mentioned.
The legal strategy is going around telling your viewers what actually happens in a guest contract at a convention when you've never seen one.
I have not said what happens in a guest contract.
We're talking about what happens.
Hold on. You just said that I said what happens in a guest contract at a convention. I have never stated what has happened. Anytime anyone asks me, I said I've never seen one of those. I've never seen one.
Seen a guest contract.
No, why would
employment contract have you?
No, why would I need one? I'm not his lawyer.
So you're making a wild conspiracy theory about why he was fired.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's legal conspiracy is 2 or more people furthering a tort. We have Kaylin Saucedo. We have the other people from Channel Awesome writing articles. We have Kaylin Saucedo specifically stating that she has friends at Funimation. And in that time frame, her friends at Funimation, after her creation of a hashtag, this is enough evidence to bring a charge of civil conspiracy. All it takes, 2 people. I know you don't know this because you think you're a legal expert, but you're not. And you keep saying, I'm not, but buddy, I am.
Let me ask you,
legal conspiracy. You're saying big conspiracy theory as if there's a bunch of people smoking in a back room with cigars, low lights, speakeasies, and whiskey going, you know what, we gotta take down Vic Mignogna. No, a legal conspiracy applies to 2 parties furthering a tort. We have so much evidence for multiple legal conspiracies. I know that we have plenty of evidence because 1, there was an investigation. There's an investigation. You understand there was an investigation, right? One that came up inconclusive. That was from an IO9 article, and then apparently, allegedly, a second investigation.
I'm sorry, stop. I am not going to let you sit here and roughshod over this, especially when you start speaking up about things that you may not know about. How are you aware that a Funimation investigation or any investigation was affected by an IO9 article?
The IO9 article reported that the initial Funimation investigation was inconclusive, which came from a Funimation employee. Then there was allegedly a second Funimation investigation because Funimation said, following an investigation, we have decided to cut all ties with Vic. I know it because that is what has been stated. Now, if someone lied, then that's not my problem.
Wait a minute. All of your speculation right now, and you've got fans right now going around the internet mentioning about how bunk these articles are. IO9, Giz, and all of these inappropriate, lying, horrible articles who are just out to slander Vic. And you're telling me that you, who are their leader right now, is basing his information off those exact same articles?
I'm flattered to be there.
You don't have any kind of inside information? You don't have any kind of inside information behind Funny. You don't have any inside information about the contracts. You haven't actually talked to Vic's lawyers about legal strategy. You're basing your information off the same articles that these guys are going to Jamie's page and trying to say that these articles are shit. You're basing your information off what your followers think are shit? Is that what you're telling me right now?
I'm very flattered that you call me the leader, but let's get something straight here. Have you ever brought litigation against someone? Because when you bring litigation against someone, you have to go off of available information, correct?
I have, yes.
Okay, so am I correct in stating that if you bring litigation against someone, you have a pool of available information, like statements that they made, maybe to news publication, that would be something you could use to craft your complaint, correct?
Oh, wait, stop, hold on, just to make sure we're actually on the same page.
I mean, this is a simple question.
I understand it is simple. What are we going to court for? There's a million things that Vic could actually go to court for and sue for. Let's take Funimation. Vic is
hold on. Wait, why won't you, like, your question is a far off tangent from what... No. I'm trying to get you to say whether or not, when you are bringing any litigation of any kind, if you are to use available information, like that is available to the public, like maybe something someone said in a journalistic publication, for example, or maybe something someone said to another person who can corroborate that statement, or are you supposed to use information that you do not have access to, like maybe an internal investigation report? Which one do you use when you go on to bring litigation?
When you go to bring litigation, there's going to be discovery, and you're going to grab the information.
Oh my God! You don't just get discovery. Like, you have to make a complaint that has to survive 1, sua sponte dismissal for failure to state a claim, and 2, potentially a motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim, and then you get discovery. You have to allege a particular amount. You have to allege a particular set of facts that create enough of a controversy to get you there. And you have to do that on publicly available information because you do not have access to other stuff. Yes, you get to discovery and you might be able to add more. It's almost like I made several videos talking about this process, but I'm just not sure. So answer the question. When you bring litigation, do you go off of information that is available publicly, or do you go off of information that is behind some sort of door that you don't have access to? Which one do you do?
When you actually go into litigation, you actually go and you actually subpoena the information. You get information that's public and private.
You don't just get to subpoena information. You have to have cause. You have to have some level of articulable claim, and you have to make that claim of fact. You don't get to do it. It's Iqbal versus Twombly. This is Civil Procedure 101. Hey, wait, I thought you told me I don't have the legal expertise over and over, and here you are missing a very basic step. The first step of litigation is to bring claims against someone. You have to draft a complaint. Yes, you do. You have to draft a complaint and hand it to somebody. You have to serve them, or you have to file it in court and get a summons.
You can't even decide what kind of litigation you're bringing.
Civil litigation. What are you talking about?
There's a million civil litigations. What are you bringing?
Literally all of them start with a complaint.
Oh my God.
Every single one. Okay, what's the alternative process? Come on, bring me the alternative process than a complaint and summons, buddy. What is it?
You can't even decide what kind of litigation that.
What is the other process than summons and complaint for bringing civil litigation? What is it? You're such an expert. What is it?
Let's back up because
answer the question. How do you bring a civil suit without a summons and complaint? Answer it.
You can't even answer what you're actually going to court for.
Oh my God, you are embarrassing. Answer the question. Without a summons and complaint, how do you bring a civil suit?
What is Vic suing for?
It doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Tortious interference with business prospects. How do you bring a complaint
Let's do this.
Oh my God, please answer the question now. How do you bring suit other than a summons and complaint?
Alright, let's do this. Tortious interference of a business. You're going to bring a complaint stating that a business...
You're going to bring a complaint? Is that what you just said? Answer me. Please, dear God, answer me.
Are you just going freaky right now because you're frustrated?
You're the most...
Are you frustrated right now?
Are you seriously going to pull the "Are you mad? You mad, bro"? No, answer the question. Answer the question. Answer the question. You won't even answer it. Did you say you bring a complaint?
I did say that you actually bring a complaint. You file a suit.
Okay, thank God.
You file a suit against a company. You have stated now, and I've been asking for 10 minutes about what kind of suit are you filing. Now we're filing a suit, tortious interference against a business. Let's go. Tortious interference of a business.
Okay, how do you file that suit? Is it with a summons and complaint? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Of course the answer is yes. There is no other way to bring suit against someone, even though you nebulously stated that there is.
Good for you. Let's go over it now.
Good for me. Oh my. Okay.
Let's go over it now.
Let's go over it. Let's go over my hypothetical one cause of action that I mentioned to get you to answer one question. Okay.
So Vic is going to sue for tortious interference of a business contract.
I don't know, but he could. Not of a business contract. I said of prospective business.
Okay, prospective business, not even actual prospective business?
Yes, that's a cause of action in Texas. It falls under a broad category of civil actions called corporate or business defamation.
Oh, so Vic is also egotistical now. Great. Okay, let's do it.
What?
So Funimation is going to so Vic is going to sue Funimation, saying that they are interfering with potential business that he may have. Let's go for it. How is Vic going to sue Funimation saying they are intentionally interfering with a business opportunity that he has? Go.
Okay, how you bring this cause of action, the elements are that a business in the course of business makes a statement or does an action that causes damage to someone's brand in the form of something like defamation. There are other potential causes of action, but we'll go with business defamation, like potentially saying that an internal investigation came up about harassment, for example, came up that after that investigation, they decided to cut ties, and then adding a subtext, a second comment, which doesn't make any sense from any legal capacity, of saying that we do not condone or support harassment or targeting of any kind. For example, let's just say that. Then maybe 17 conventions disinvite Vic following that. I think we can go ahead and suggest, for the purposes of the complaint at least, that we can say that Funimation made a statement that caused Vic damage. The only thing that we would have to prove would be actual malice, which can be alleged in the complaint and sought through discovery. Yes, I think I could have written that weeks ago. I could certainly write it today. I could have that in the mail by tomorrow if I were representing Vic, and that was the cause of action that was correct.
You probably could, but you're not representing Vic, and there's probably a reason for that. So let's just go over.
Yes, I'm in Minnesota. I'm not licensed in Texas. I'm a solo practitioner. I don't have the firm. I don't have the firm resources to go ahead and sue potentially 15 different parties, including a multi-billion-dollar company called Sony or a multi-hundred-million-dollar called Funimation. I don't do that type of litigation from the middle of central Minnesota. I primarily
You don't personally have that kind of finances available, which means you actually obviously don't understand how lawsuits actually work because it's not you paying for it. But let's go ahead and go on with this. So
no, hold on. You're suggesting this is you right now. Let me just go ahead and point out. You're suggesting that Vic should maybe consider hiring a solo practitioner who does small civil litigation in central Minnesota, to take his case, which might be filed in Denton County, Texas, which might be filed in the Eastern District or Northern District of Texas, and maybe has suits in the Southern District of California. You're suggesting that it's because I lack some sort of resources or something. I don't even know what you're trying to say, because that statement you said there's a reason. No, you said there's listen.
You're not his counsel.
The reason I'm not Vic's counsel is because there is no reason for me to be Vic's counsel. It would be absolutely silly. It would be patently absurd to hire a solo practitioner in a state 1,000 miles away to do a complex.
Talk to his lawyers, doesn't know the strategy, doesn't know anything. A guy who is out there speaking on the internet, trying to get viewers, who has admitted he doesn't know the first thing about what Vic is actually wanting, what Vic's lawsuit actually is.
I don't have an attorney-client relationship with Vic, you brainlet. I can't.
So you don't know shit about what Vic is doing.
I've never claimed to. I've never once claimed to.
Right there.
What?
Right there. That's all.
What?
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This has been embarrassing for you. I've never claimed to know what Vic is doing. I've said this is what I would do.